Yeah,
I have a question for Mr. Tapan Bakshi.
Mr. Boxy, can you be there, Mr. Boxy?
Mr. Bakshi, I can't see. There is an empty chair.
Yeah, yeah. Let us have Mr. Boxy to return, and so for the since for that period of time, you may please reserve your question. And any other question from anybody else from the other panelists or the members of audience? Well, I have a couple of questions to Mr. Mukherjee, and first of those questions is that Mr. Mukherjee, you have very correctly pointed out that abnormal high rate quoted by some item by the bidder. Uh, so is it from a perception from the bidder's part that there would be delay in payment and they so that they can load the interest and other unforeseen expenses in the initial cost?
Yeah, actually, what happens, Anirban, experienced contractors. I'm talking about. I have dealt with big projects, and experienced contractors do an initial check on their own. We are talking about item rate contracts, and experienced contractors would do a check before they quote. They would do a check on their own, and they try to find out these loopholes. That if there is, I've seen this is what happens. Mistakes are separate, but there are contractors who try to find out that certain items which are have low quantity in the BOQ, but the quantities are likely to go up during execution. So there they quote high because it doesn't affect the overall tender cost, and then if there is no provision in the contract for renegotiation, if there is no provision for that AHR item kind of a situation, then that contractor stands to gain because he gets away with a large quantity executed at a high rate, whereas he had got it on the basis of a small amount in that. You get my point? So this is why what happens. This is a trick clever contractors play in item rate contracts, and where the client has not done his homework, this happens.
Yes, absolutely, sir. And another thing, you have also mentioned about the role of you have very pertinently you have touched upon the role and importance of the consultant. And consultant, when they are at the associate of the end client or project proponent, so it is their role practically to monitor so that contractor cannot utilize the loopholes of the contract. And you have the extra claim issue which you have mentioned, that extra claim, the customer's consultant, what should be their ideal role to so that EPC or turnkey contractor cannot their extra claim issue can be suitably and ably tackled.
Actually, in our project, there is a clause in the GCC, that is the extra work. May it be civil, particularly civil work, mechanical or electrical, there is no such extra work. For civil work, there is a clause, extra claim for the additional work. There is a clause in the GCC, and
No,
it
but
was something like that.
the contract, there is no extra claim.
No, I will answer that question. Actually, extra claim when when extra works are given in an item rate contract, extra works can be are usually worked out that this is, let's say, an item which is not even there in the contract in the
Yes,
in the
yes,
bill of
not in
material.
the schedule.
not in the schedule at all. Then the rule
Yeah,
is that the contractor is asked to give, is told that you have to do this work. He is asked to give a price breakup. He gives a rate. He's asked to give a price breakup. The consultant analyzes it, and then there is a negotiation, and it is sorted out. But in turnkey contracts, there are extra claims, and those become very complicated because there is no rate. And there, in turnkey contracts where there is an equipment mobilization, there are 10 issues connected with that. He would say that I have deployed my manpower there, I have mobilized my equipment here, and you are asking me to do something, an item of work which I was not prepared to do, but it becomes necessary. Then it becomes a fairly complex exercise. Again, you go through that route. You calculate from the basics. The consultant does it with him, but I've seen such claims are difficult to settle. And in my experience, since I have worked from the consultant side, I've seen capable contractors like L&T and maybe foreign contractors. They will get away with a lot of extra money. So you have to be clear in the though. That is why somebody said, in our country, projects are awarded quickly. There is delay in execution. Actually, at the time of award, during the preparation of the tender, homework has to be done carefully. Every aspect has to be considered, and you just can't come up at a later date, change quantities, ask for new items, ask for a new work. You end up paying more.
Mr. Saha, would you like to add up on a few words on this?
No, actually, for EPC contract, whatever we done in our Mokrishar project and also in Sagardevi project, there is no clause for any extra item. Because this is a turnkey contract and the total job is to be done by the contractor. So there is no provision for any extra item.
Can I interject? So this is one part. I have seen the other part. In WBSCL
বাবু নন্দা
India Farm Storage Project,
হ্যাঁ রে নন্দা আগের মাসেই
the
তো
contract was awarded, and for some reason, the customer could not give the land for starting the work. There were three contractors, Mitsubishi, Mitsui, and Taisei, all Japanese. So Mitsui gave the whole order to us. I was in expert over here. So after 3 months, Mitsubishi came to me that we have to make a claim. So I was shocked. I said, I have not done any work. Where is the claim? So there is the claim. Because delay, elongation of the project or the suspension of the project. And the beautiful paper he gave it to me, you just fill it up. And all these things, and finally, delay in financing costs, insurance, etc., and finally loss of profit. He said,
Yes.
my whole resources were allocated for this project. And as usually, WBSCL did not accept, rejected. But they somehow managed, the financing agency, JBIC, and they finally got the claim also. They call it claim management.
This may be due to the delay of. This may be due to not availability of site. Is it so?
Yes, 8 months delay.
So that's why they can claim it, because site was not available. Contractor is not responsible for that.
Usually, Niranjan, in our Indian scenario, if the customer delays in giving the site, because I have not started anything, I don't go for claim. Usually. But that can be a claim I have learned from the Japanese.
No, all international contractors do that. If you delay, if you extend time, they will ask for more money. If you delay, they will ask for more.
Normally, Indian contractors not normally do that.
They will ask. They will ask, and if they are in the site, then you have had it. They will create hell.
But we have not gone to site. We are
No,
in the room only.
no. Then they will claim that I have, there are that I had another opportunity. I would have utilized my equipment somewhere else,
Yes,
and I
yes,
couldn't do
yes.
it because I booked it for you. I have seen in, in particularly big contractors quoting for lump sum jobs. They are experienced, that they are very clever. They go through the whole document, they work out on their own, and any loophole they will capitalize at a later date. I've seen this. Mr.
Right, sir.
Topan Bukshi.
I want to
Yeah,
I
Mr.
want to tell something about Bokeshwar. As
Yes, sir.
Mr. They have already told you that we could achieve to complete the project 3 months ahead of schedule. Actually, the project was done with the total help of DCPL, HL, and the Japanese company. Everybody was so cooperative, and all the materials and everything was dispatched in time, and total coordination was there. We also monitored regularly, as we told. Even director project of BHL used to attend the meeting, every coordination meeting. Any delay from what we mentioned, he took initiative personally and tried to deliver all the material in time. Another thing for Bokeshwar is unique, that the intake water what we use for our project, there is one dam in Bokeshwar River. So WPDCL has contracted the dam also, and NHPC was our consultant. So this is a unique project that we also had to construct the dam. And another was the transmission line. Normally the transmission line is done by the transmission company. But in this project, the transmission line was done by WPDCL, and our main contractor was Power Grid. So all this coordination had to be done properly so that it can be done within time. So every company attached with this project helped a lot, and we achieved this target. This one I can tell for Bokeshwar.
Yes, sir, definitely. And particularly for a power project, it hits the tariff if there is delay or if there is cost overrun
Yes,
or type overrun. Ultimately, it hits the tariff. But for a oil and
yes,
for a refinery or petrochemical project or an integrated steel plant project, where there are number of different units involved, and different process licenses and technology providers are involved, the challenge is something else. And definitely Mr. Mukherjee has also shared a few very significant matter of concern related to this. Now I would come to Mr. Ghosh, because Mr. Ghosh, he is practically a proponent of the early commissioning of the project, because he has executed such projects ahead of schedule, implemented such projects. So, in case, even if there is not a requirement, not a spelled out requirement from the customer for an early commissioning, if an EPC can commission the project ahead of schedule, uh, would there be any incentive for the contractor? Should there be any incentive?
See, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
The answer is, I would say, that definitely one incentive is always there for the contractor, that they can release their workforce for other projects if they do it early within the time frame with some extra resources. And that is the advantage of the contractor side. But the customer usually they accept early completion of work. Always. Customer will never say that don't do it early, usually. So this thing has to be come from the contractor or from both sides. But I came to a situation where the customer told that you have to do the work of 12 months in 6 months. And without seeing anything, I said, yes, I'll do. But only two things you have to ensure. Number one, the extra money required for this mobilization, extra, that you have to decide now. Because after the job is over, nobody will look at that. They said, yes, I'll do it. And then after you start the work. Number two, there are two type of things. One is the customer hold point and other is the information category. Customer hold point is the approval of drawing, inspection and workshop. So I said the balance work, you make it information category. I'll only inform you and you accept. Because finally I am responsible. They agreed. And the job was done in the right way. In a difficult place, Uri, where surgical strike took place, in the LOC, it's a very difficult place. And there we did it 12 months time, 6 months.
Sir, I think what you are talking about the early completion time, it is not the scheduled completion time. I think after prolongation, there is a scope that it can complete 12 months. So you propose them, I will complete it by 6 months. So it is like that
I have
only.
not proposed. I have not proposed. They have proposed, and I have accepted.
Okay, but this is not the scheduled completion time. This is beyond scheduled completion time.
No, not
Last
beyond.
election
After
and commissioning was 12 months time.
It is beyond scheduled completion time. You consider it this scheduled time is 5 years. So it is 10 years. So at the end of 9th year, client is telling that you just reduce the time.
No. I think you are. I'm not getting it. You see, there is a time left for election commissioning after the civil handover. Right?
Okay. You are talking about something else. I am talking about that scheduled commission time. When you signed an agreement, that there is a scheduled commission time of 5 years. So that has already exhausted. And generally, for the project, there is no incentive for early commissioning.
Anywhere, if you can manage some incentive, there will be some improvement. No doubt. That is true.
Mr. Anirban Dotto, I can share our experience in SAIL that for Jamnagar project of RIL, the project was commissioned well in advance. And most of us got some bonus amount or incentive as you call it. And they declared also that if delayed, you have to pay penalty. If you are advancing supplies, you will get incentive. There was a formula given. And most of the suppliers and the vendors
But I understand we are not allowed to include the penalty clause. We are allowed to include the LD clause, but not, that is a bonus clause. We are not allowed to include the bonus clause, but we are allowed to include the LD clause.
Yes, Mr. Dev, that is correct. That was my question. If even there is no demand or no pressure from the client to commission ahead of schedule, if the contractor can achieve this, so should there be any bonus or should there be any incentive for this, so that can actually encourage the contractors and all the EPCs, so that they are also motivated to commission the project early. That was actually maybe a pathway. Actually, it may be deliberated a lot on this also. And Mr. Dattagupta and Dr. Devnath, both of you have categorically emphasized. Mr. Dattagupta has emphasized upon the significance of the delay analysis. Dr. Devnath very correctly pointed out that the significance of the earliest completion of the project. So I would like to request you to share your thoughts on this.
Hello,
Yes,
am I audible, please?
yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay, I mean, my part of the presentation was more on preemptive kind of a activity, and delay analysis is a post kind of a incidence. But before that, some basic this thing has to be taken, action has to be taken, particularly not to keep the unresolved issues under the carpet. This creates a lot of problem later on. And regarding the delay analysis, yes, there are very critical analysis can be done. There are in-house competencies. They are fine. Otherwise, there are men who are available who will do all those things. Find out the every little bit, opportunities, how to establish your contact and things like that. So people are using those facilities.
Definitely, sir. Dr. Devnath, would you like to add a few words on this?
No, actually, in my opinion, Mr. Dattagupta, before
Sir.
placement of order, contractor should raise the point they are not agreeing to over GCC. So it should be discussed between the client and the contractor and solve all the dispute points and finalize everything so that afterwards there is no question can be raised by the contractor.
Agreed. This point is agreed, but it does not happen really. There is always the pressure from the.
It should happen. Otherwise, they can raise many questions.
Agreed, sir. Agreed.
Dr. Devnath, would you like to add few words on this? Dr. Mukulesh Devnath, yeah, you please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. I couldn't listen your voice specifically. That time there was an internet disturbance.
Yeah, on the importance and the challenges of early commissioning or say early completion of the project, you also very categorically mentioned the significance of the early completion. So would you like to add few words on this? Sharing your experience.
I mean, time is the essence of everything. For project management, time is the essence of everything. I think whether client is agreeable or not to give you bonus or something else, so you should complete the project first and come out of the project because as you will be side. So cost overrun, time overrun, everything will be there. So complete the project, come out of the project first, whether the client is agreeable to give you any bonus or not.
Thank you, Mr. Dey. As I mentioned that particularly the Bokreshwar thermal power project had been hit by many unforeseen circumstances since its inception. So and eventually there had been lot of issues like the later units had to be commissioned earlier and beforehand, and the units which were to be planned earlier those had to be practically scrapped at one point of time. So ultimately, how did it hit the overall final project economics and the the tariff finally?
Actually, in 1989, when ABL started the job of burden number 1, burden and also structural job and completed the foundation of burden number 2, and there was no such work with unit number 3. But when the work order was given to BHL Itochu, what they did, they start the job, they reverse the order. That is, unit number 3 means unit number 1. In that way, they have actually started their job. And by that time, when they are actually when they are going to construct the work of unit number 2 or unit number 3, unit number 2, actually first loan agreement was for unit number 1 and 2, and second loan agreement is for unit number 3. Sahasat can also explain.
Dr. Mondal, are you there? Dr. Mondal? May I now request Dr. Mondal and Mr. Dattagupta to kindly conclude the session with their concluding remarks. Dr. Mondal, are you there?
Let me then continue with the vote of thanks, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my proud privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. As the great saying goes, all good things would come to an end at some point of time, and so is this workshop. I am sure the august house will agree with me that this had been a unique endeavor and a beautiful experience for all of us, be the faculties or industry experts or the participants or the organizers. On behalf of GBS Energy and the organizers, and on my own behalf, I extend hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Professor S.K. Dwivedi, Project Director, TIDF Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT Guwahati, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace the occasion and share his illuminating thoughts, which will surely inspire and encourage all participants, including designers, project managers, project engineers, industries, research institutes, and academia of the country. We are immensely indebted to Professor Nishita Mondal, Chair Professor Fellow, Technology Innovation Hub, IIT Guwahati, who had been constant source of inspiration and guiding force for the organizers. I also express my deep gratitude to the faculties of IIT Guwahati and also experts for sharing their enlightened thoughts, which will surely be helpful for everyone involved in the country. I also extend my special thanks to the management of GBS Energy Private Limited for organizing this seminar. No words are enough to express the Herculean efforts put in by Mr. Amitabh Ghosh, starting from conceptualizing to macro and micro planning to scheduling and successfully implementing the same. Let's also applaud the efforts given by all team members of Mr. Ghosh. The seminar could not have been so beautifully organized but for untiring efforts of Dr. Niranjan Shah and his constant guidance to the organizers. Thank you all the enterprising and aspiring participants for sparing your valuable time in attending to this two-day online workshop, an unique endeavor initiated by IIT Guwahati and their industry partner GBS Energy Private Limited. We are sure the input received here will help you to shape up your future in a better way. And let me offer my heartiest congratulations to all of you. Our heartfelt appreciation to our anchors, Mr. Arno Banerjee and Mr. Anirban Dotto, for their meticulous planning and conducting the workshop. And my special thanks and appreciation goes to online coordinator, Mr. Pallav Badak, for his untiring and creative endeavors. Good job done, Pallav. Thank you all once again. Namaskar and goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.